And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to About My Book Business. As you can see, it's just me this week. Teresa is traveling, so safe travels to you, Teresa. But today we have the incomparable Ella Clarke, who is the CEO and founder of The Writer's Nest and Clarke Publishing. So, as we always do, we start out with our win from last week and things that we are looking forward to this week. So for me, my win last week was that I really got down some really good social media campaigns because, as you know, this is Caribbean Heritage Month. And so I've started this campaign with Leap Forward Publishing where I'm highlighting notable people who are Caribbean born or of Caribbean heritage. And I've actually been sticking with it, posting every single day. And that is a real true feat for me. So I'm really excited about that. And then what I'm looking forward to this week is in where I live in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, there's the Juneteenth celebration this Saturday. And I'm looking forward to having my booth and meeting people in the community and promoting my books. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So Ella, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really happy
Absolutely.
to meet you and to see you here today. So why don't you start off by telling us what your win was last week and what you're looking forward to?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, number one, for having me,
Yeah.
Deborah. And this week, well, last week, my biggest win, I'm going to piggyback off of what you were talking
Okay.
about social media. I am a very transparent, very honest person, and social media is a necessary evil, and I really don't like it. I won't just say that. I do not like social media. So, my biggest win last week was being able to create auto postings for all of my social media accounts to manage social media so that I can approve, I can look at the post, I can edit them if I want to, and then I can just schedule them and they go out to every single one of my platforms. I am ecstatic about the auto poster that I found to be able to do that so I could keep up with all of my social media. I can approve everything and everything is going out and everything is on brand and messaging. And I don't have to do one single post at a time like I was doing because it is so time consuming to
Of
keep up with social media. So, huge win for me on the social media front. What I'm looking forward to most this week
Mhm.
is I am an entrepreneur at heart and I'm building out some infrastructure for a couple of my businesses right now. And I am so excited because they are going so well. And I'm right at the finish line and being able to hit go on a couple
Mhm.
of things for Clarke House Publishing, as well as for entrepreneurs that we will talk about,
Yeah.
I'm sure, later in the show. But I'm very excited about the upcoming week and what that will bring in terms of attraction to Ella Clarke as a whole and the businesses that are on the forefront.
I love it. Well, first of all, your name, Ella Clarke, just sounds like it's, you know, a movie star. So I love that. But so you are also, aside from all those other things that we're going to touch on, you are also an urban fantasy author and you're traditionally published.
I
So
am.
I want to know a little bit more about that first. How did you even get into writing and why urban fantasy?
So, awesome question. I am by trade a scientist. My
Mhm.
degree's in chemistry and mathematics, but I've always been the type person who questions why and what if.
Yeah.
And I believe it is my love of books, number one, avid reader from way back when I was a young child. And urban fantasy, I like to take the real and marry it with the what if. And that's what urban fantasy is. You take a real place, a real location, real substance, real people, and you sprinkle in the paranormal and the magic and the different realms and make people think, did that really happen? So that's why I really love urban fantasy. I love a bunch of different genres, but my thing is really the paranormal. So I just
Ah,
love the paranormal. I love the shapeshifters. I love the vampires. I love the immortals. And I'm because I'm so into that,
yeah.
and I'm an avid reader. I've read series of books and I was like, I would not have ended it that way, or I wouldn't have let it take that turn or that twist, or that's not how that trope should be. And
Right.
when you see things that you would do different and you feel like you can do better, I'm the type of person like, well, I'll just do
Okay.
it.
Well,
And that's how I got into it.
well, who would you say is your biggest influence, literary influence for urban fantasy?
For urban fantasy, I will say Diana Love. She writes the Bellador series. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but Diana Love is awesome. Her series are based mostly in Atlanta,
Okay.
Georgia. And she does an amazing job of a hidden world right in the middle of urban
Oh,
domestic America between Diana Love and probably IT Lucas. Those are two of my favorites. IT Lucas, all of her stuff is based in LA. So she's all the immortals and kind of a spin on the vampire trope. And I just love it. Those are two of my favorites. I have a long list of, I probably read 200 books a year, literally, no
I
joke.
believe you. It's kind of bringing to mind the True Blood series. Charmaine. Oh, I can't remember. I read them all, but it's so long ago. But yeah,
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 I've
that
heard of
kind of.
True Blood. I haven't read them, but I've heard of them.
Oh, they're good. They read like little trashy novels, but they're
Yep.
absolutely
Look,
amazing. I love
into it.
I love them. I love them. So why traditionally publish? Why not publish them on your own?
And that is a journey. Very good question. My first novel, I published, I can't even call it self published. I say it was vanity published. And I will say the
Mhm.
journey was a train wreck.
Mm,
And I guarantee you, you will not be able to find that book anywhere. And I've made sure of that. So it was a bit of a journey. And I went through vanity publishing to partner publishing to traditional publishing. It was literally a journey. My goal all along was to do traditional publishing. I kind of in that journey tripped and fell onto a small independent publishing house that picked me up. And I will say that it was a blessing. You learn kind of as you go in this business.
yeah.
And that's part of what birthed Clarke House Publishing. You asked why did I not publish it myself? So my last two books myself. The third one I will publish myself.
Okay. So then what was how did you so then how did you get from just deciding to write a novel, getting it published, going through the journey of the vanity publishing to the traditional publishing to now wanting to publish your I mean, just what is the strat what was the overarching goal? What was the goal? Was it to become like, this big famous author or was it to just put out books that you love, books that you would want to read?
It was a little bit of both. Not that I want to be a big time publishing house, want my name to be out there. It was more so of part of my learning and growth journey and seeing a need in the industry that is not there, I feel like. I feel like the blend between being able to traditionally publish um, new and emerging authors that fall by the wayside, I feel like a lot, and get taken advantage of a
Mm,
lot because you don't know what you don't know. And being able to have that control over your creative intellectual property that you oftentimes sign away when you go traditionally published. Um, there's a lot that new and emerging authors just don't know.
they don't know. Yeah.
They just do not know. And I will say over my 12, 14-year journey, um, I can honestly say I've been taken advantage of a lot.
Mm,
And you learn from each experience, but you can learn and grow, or you can learn and quit. You can learn and shrink away. And because I saw a need, I decided to fill a need, is where Clarke House Publishing really was birthed, because I saw a need and a gap in the industry that just was not being filled.
got it. So what is the publishing model?
So, very interesting publishing model. So, the original platform is more of a crowdfunding model to be able to publish new voices and get them traditionally published without having to pay the thousands of dollars to start building your author platform. So, one of our first models is a contest for anthologies. And yeah, you pay $75 for a contest, but then you're paid for your story. You're
Mm,
paid traditionally for your story, so many cents a word. You can say, I'm traditionally published. You get the education. You also can say you're an award winning, traditionally published author because you've won a spot in this anthology. So, our first project is basically a crowd funded by the entry fee for the contest, but everybody that lands the anthology will be paid
got
for
it.
their story.
Wow.
So that's the first model. And the other model will be a partner model, because I feel like I've surrounded myself with extremely good partners that are also up and coming in the publishing industry, that really want to help new and emerging authors get their works out there. So, not, taking advantage of somebody to charge, I'll get this book out for you and it's only going to cost you $79.95. And I mean
Yeah, yeah,
$7,995. Um, I feel like that's taking advantage. So, if you can partner with these new and emerging authors and make sure that their books are edited correctly and they're formatted correctly,
yeah.
and you bring in the right people to show them how to build a marketing platform and how to launch not only a great book that you've written, but now you can have a end-to-end platform to actually sell that book, or even to make that book into a business where you have a sustaining model that you can build off of, is my goal for Clarke House Publishing.
Got it. So with the anthologies, are there a particular type of genre that you are geared towards? Is it urban fantasy or is it
So the first contest is urban fantasy.
yeah.
And honestly, the first contest is urban fantasy because that's what I love and that's what I write. However, every time we finish one, there'll be a different one, and there'll be a different genre every single time. I want to give self-help, a platform. I want to give romance a platform. I want to give religious a platform. I want to give children's stories a platform. So it's not limited. I want to get folks of every genre out there. So the first one is urban fantasy. I'm a little biased.
Yeah.
The first anthology is urban fantasy.
Okay. So for each one of these books, you will be coming up with the theme?
Yeah.
And will the theme is there any rhyme or reason as to what theme that you'll be picking, or is it just whatever you feel at the moment?
Honestly, once the urban fantasy one is underway, we've created a community, and I want to let the community vote on what they want to see next.
Got it.
Honestly,
And
I
what
want to see what people want. I
yeah.
want to see what people want. I don't want to, I was a little biased and picked urban fantasy for the first one, but I want to see what people want to see next.
Okay.
And I'm going to let the people dictate.
Well, that makes sense, right? Because you're marketing, if you want to market successfully, then you have to give people what
Absolutely.
they want.
I want to
And
give
that
people
goes
what they want.
and that goes to the next question because Teresa told me I had to ask this question. So, what strategies have you had the most success with in marketing your book and the books of your authors for your publishing company?
So, what I found to be most successful is connections, honestly. you've got to have a network, you've got to have connections. And through my connections, I have been able to build an ecosystem.
Mm,
And when I say an ecosystem, right when I got traditionally published, I got all these, you go on social media and you're putting all your stuff out there. And one thing that I've learned, when you launch a book, the worst thing that you can do is all of your posts be about your book. People don't realize that, but they're posting, buy my book, here's the link, buy my book. That is the fastest way to drive people away
yeah,
from buying your book. You want to pull in the audience of the people that will read your book. So for me, when I did a business model, it was it was uh, uh, housewives or moms with kids in minivans that drink wine, that that watch certain kinds of TV shows. You've got to hone into those audiences and make your post about those kinds of things
yeah,
to attract and to build your audience. And once you do that, then you can start talking about your book. And what happened was, I actually got the attention of a PR person that pulled me in and connected me with another author that was writing totally different genre, but this PR person put me and this other person together as partners and launched a podcast.
mm,
And our podcast, we actually started interviewing new emerging authors, giving them a voice, put together trailers for their books, and we advertised them on social media. Then we'd bring them on the podcast and let them talk about their books. We created a virtual book club so other authors could give them reviews. You've got to create an ecosystem
yeah,
of folks that are going to help you build your author platform. That's the best way, honestly, to get your name out there and to sell books, honestly,
I,
because you have people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. And when you push them, they'll push you. And one hand kind of
yeah,
washes the other, especially when you're not a known
mm,
name out there. You got to have the right people around you.
yeah,
Because when I started, my Twitter probably had Twitter, it's no longer Twitter, it's X,
right.
but my Twitter had 30 people on it, like literally. And this person that the PR person put me with had 10,000 people on Twitter. So all of this started cross pollinating to build an audience for me that was completely unknown. I had one book, this person had like 8 books. So she was a lot more known than I was. And just those connections and that networking, and that flows through everything.
That is so true because I know for me as a children's book author, I have built up a network in 3 or 4 years, I think it is, that of other children's book authors because our community is kind of small, especially when you're looking at Black women children's book authors. It's
Absolutely.
really small, and we bump into each other from time to time, but we connect, we support each other. Whenever one of us is doing some sort of an initiative, we have the list that we call on to help promote our books, promote our initiative, and it definitely does help. You can't go into this alone. And I agree with you that when you come on social media brand new, people's attitudes are, who are you? I don't know who you are. You want me to buy something from you, but I don't know who you are. So I know I like to promote that you need to sell yourself first. Sell
Right.
yourself, sell who you are, what your mission is, what you are about. And once you can sell yourself and people feel like they know you, then they will invest in whatever it is that you're selling. Whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one other thing you got to do, and I know writers tend to be very introverted. We like to get all of our ideas out on paper, and
Yeah.
then we're too shy or too introverted to open up our mouth and say something about what we've written. You've got to put yourself out there. One thing that I've found is great to do: look for conferences, writing conferences, learning conferences. Go find your people. connect with your people. Like some of the best conferences that I've gone to are just completely dedicated to fantasy.
Yeah.
You write fantasy, you love fantasy, you read fantasy, find a fantasy writers conference and go. You will find your people there. Introduce yourself, buy books, let them buy your books,
Yeah.
tell them about who you are and what you're hoping to do. And in the process, you're learning. You're learning and growing and networking. You got to put yourself out there and get a sphere of influence.
Yeah. And build your tribe. And that is the
Build your
best.
tribe.
That is the best way to segue into the writer's nest.
Absolutely.
Yes, because it is your ecosystem of writers, right?
It
And
is.
so if you could just tell us a little bit about the story behind the writer's nest, like, well, you wanted to build a community, so that's the why. But how long have you been doing it? And tell me a little bit more about it.
Absolutely. So the writer's nest is fairly new. It's a concept that was birthed mid 2023.
Okay.
And it came from my journey. Honestly, I talked about a little bit earlier about that whole vanity publishing to partner publishing to traditional publishing to PR people and podcast and partners. And one thing that I've learned in that journey is it takes a network, it takes a tribe, it takes a village. But I've also learned that if you don't have the right people around you or the right ecosystem, you will get taken advantage of. You can get hurt. You can get bamboozled, hoodwinked. I've found in my 12 to 14-year journey that publishing can be a very dirty industry.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it can be a very dirty industry. So the writer's nest was birthed out of wanting to create a safe place for learning, growth, networking, and development. It's okay not to know everything, but if you have a network or a tribe of people that are not only writers, but all of the creators that surround writing. You have publishers, you have editors, you have literary agents, you have cover designers, you have, illustrators, you have, narrators, everything that it takes to be successful. I've heard so many times, I wrote a book, now what?
Yeah.
Like literally, they don't know what the next step is. Even the next logical step, which is editing. You got to get a book edited. You got to make sure that what you have on paper is, presentable for somebody else to even pick up and read. So being able to create that safe space where you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to know everything, and you have people in every direction that you can reach out to and bounce your ideas. You can connect with somebody to make sure that your book is edited properly. You can connect with somebody that will say, yeah, I'm a book coach. Let me help you with what your book launch looks like. Here's a publisher that's willing to work with a new and emerging author, and they're going to give you a successful way to do that without taking advantage of you. That's where the writer's nest came from, because of that need that I saw in the industry. Because you can write query letters, you can write 100 query letters and be told no 100 different creative ways, but it's still a no.
Yeah.
They want to know about your author platform. They want to know about your social media presence. They want you to send them a marketing plan of, if we pick up this book, how is this book going to sell? Who is your target audience? It's the things that are so intimidating when you don't know what you don't know. The writer's nest was created to be a safe space to learn, to grow, develop, and to connect as a creator.
Okay, I love the creating a safe space. So let's get down to the weeds of it. How specifically do you foster the sense of community? What initiatives do you have within the Writer's Nest that fosters that and connects emerging authors with these publishers and editors and so forth?
Yeah. So like I said, the concept was birthed mid last year. So far we have put in the platform that's been put in place is a collaborative community.
Mhm.
It's a community space called the Writer's Nest Community, and it is actually a closed space for just the Writer's Nest members and partners. So we are working on building that platform out right now. You can actually join right now the Writer's Nest community. There's not a ton of people in it yet, but hey, we just launched it. So there are private rooms where you can connect with publishers, you can connect with editors, you
Hmm.
can connect with people in your same genre. You can go into the learning hub because I don't really know how to do character development. Oh, but there's a lesson right here on how to do character development in this safe learning hub. So we've created that platform where again, it is a safe space for people to learn and grow. I feel like there are too many places where people don't want to say what they want to say because there are so many experts or so many people in there that they feel like they can't ask the questions.
Yeah,
They'll feel intimidated or they'll feel like it's not an intelligent enough question. The Writer's Nest again is a safe place to you can ask whatever you want. I don't know what to do with this manuscript that I'm writing. I have no idea how to character develop. I have no idea how to world build. I just have this idea in my head and I've never heard of mind mapping and mapping out an entire universe for the it's a safe space. I don't know. I wrote this book and it's all ready. I don't know how to write my author bio. I didn't know taking a selfie for the picture on the back of my book was unacceptable.
wow.
Like literally,
Yeah,
it's down to that level of we are here to support and you can do it inside this community. There is somebody that will take you by the hand, whether it's a partner or it's another member that will take you by the hand and say, hey, girl, this is how you do this.
got it.
Don't do it like that. We need you to take that selfie down. No, that's not how you write your author bio. That's not how you write the critique for your book. It's a safe space.
Got it. Got it. Are the professionals that are in the community, are they vetted in any way?
So I am working on doing the vetting. So you can request as a partner to join the Writer's Nest, and I will do the vetting process before that person is marked as active in the community and searchable. Will I catch everything? Absolutely not, because people are going to say whatever.
Yeah.
But also built into the community will be a review system so that if you get negative reviews from a couple of different members in the Writer's Nest, then we have to have a conversation and you're marked inactive until we
I love that. I love
resolve those reviews. I don't want people to be taken advantage of. 12 years in, I'm still getting probably 3, 4 times a week, either phone calls or emails from literary agents that have a great deal and want to pick up my book that was vanity published that is not even out there anymore. They're
Yeah,
scams, they're phishing emails, they're scam calls, and that's not what I want in the Writer's Nest at
I
all.
love that. I love the fact that you're vetting them. I love that
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
So okay, so it's still in its infancy,
yes,
right?
it
Where
is.
do you see it in 5 years? 5 years, let's say 5 years, 'cause
And
I have a feeling with you that it'll blow that 10 years is too far?
like
That
literally, I will say that my goal for next year
ooh,
is
okay, I
is
love it.
is boom. Like
Okay,
literally, because right now I'm working on vetting the partners. I'm working on making sure the members that have all these needs are driven into this community. So in a year's time, I see an ecosystem that is so built out and so supportive of one another and making those business connections. It is the system is designed for the indie creator,
got
whether that is a an author, a narrator, an editor trying to get their business off the ground, whether it's a book coach or somebody that's teaching about taxation and how to set up your business. It will all be there. And because it is such a need, I see partners flooding this community. I see members flooding this community. And when you can have a searchable directory that is vetted, where you don't have to go to Google and hope and a wish that whatever you pull out of the hat is going to assist you,
Yeah,
I think that's invaluable.
it is.
And it's invaluable, and it's not out there right now. It is not out there.
Well, I'm excited.
You can tell I'm very
You
excited.
are, but I'm excited because you're right. When I first started my journey, I was doing editing, and then my sister had me research the process on self-publishing, and I was like, "Oh, well, wait a second. I think I could, do this, whatever." But you're right. There wasn't any one comprehensive location that I can find out all of this information. I had to kind of like really piecemeal it here, there, and everywhere, and almost got taken by Vanity Press, but was fortunate enough to find mentors, professionals in the industry that were able to guide me into a better direction. So there is a void, there's a need,
Mhm.
and I think it's wonderful that you're filling that. And I love the idea of just the safe space where you can ask any question and feel certain that the answer that you're going to get is not going to be predatory. So
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. So let's switch gears now.
Mhm.
And well, no, before we do that, what advice, as because we're just talking about new authors and
Mhm.
new emerging authors, what advice would you give to an aspiring author who's just starting her writing journey and looking to get published? What's your advice?
Learn, 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 learn. Surround yourself by people who already are where you want to be. That is the best way to get off the ground. You already said it. You have got to find a mentor. You've got to find someone who knows what you do not know.
Yeah,
Um, and that's where the writer's nest comes in. There's going to be somebody that is where that has been where you are now and who is also where you want to be. That's the beauty of the writer's nest. There'll be somebody on every single level, somebody who just has a book idea, who doesn't know where to start, somebody who has already finished a manuscript, but now they have no idea what to do with it. Manuscript is ready, it's edited. I have no idea how to get published. Okay, well, now I'm published. I have no idea how to market and sell this book. I have no idea how to build out my author platform. There's got to be somebody on every single level, and you've got to surround yourself with those people if you want to be successful. And having everything in one place is invaluable, because once you figure out one thing or learn several hard lessons figuring out one thing, it can get exhausting,
yeah,
and people give up on it.
yeah,
Absolutely give up on it because it can be extremely exhausting when one bad thing happens after another after another. I'm just stubborn and very determined. I'm
right.
stubborn and very determined, and I don't have a problem with criticism. I don't have a constructive criticism. I
Mhm.
don't have a problem with constructive criticism because that says I can learn and I can get better.
Yeah. Okay.
Literally, you can learn and you can get better.
Yeah, because you have some aspiring authors that are very headstrong that they want to be traditionally published, and then some who say, I want to be independently published. I want to work with a hybrid publisher who's going to guide me and do it for me, or I just want to learn how to self-publish and work with a publishing consultant or a book shepherd that's going to
Right.
guide me through the process. You have to know what it is. I believe I agree with you. You have to know what it is that you want, where do you want to be, and then you have to find the help. In some
Absolutely.
place like the writer's nest, that's someone who's going to guide you to get you where you want to be. And it's excellent that you would have people who are willing to do that, because what I found also in my journey, and what I've heard from other people in their journey, is that sometimes people are gatekeepers and don't necessarily want to share that information. And so
Hoard
it's a
information.
yeah,
They hoard information,
yeah,
even down to contracts. I understand people wanting to get traditionally published. What folks don't understand a lot of times is the amount of um, control that you relinquish when you're traditionally published. Now, I will say when you're building your author platform, it's great to have some traditionally published in there. It's great if you learn and how to do it to have some self-published works in there so that you have creative control. You decide if you decide I want to, put out a different narration for this audiobook, you can yank it down and do it right then. You get locked into some of these contracts, you can be locked up for 5, 6, 7, 8 years before you can get the rights back to something that is your intellectual property.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you gotta know, what your goal is going in
Yes,
for you to buy.
and like you said, surround yourself with good people that are going to guide you in the right way, even when it comes down to the legal aspect of publishing, as well as your creative control. So
Absolutely.
that's excellent advice. So you have something coming up for the Writer's Nest. Want to tell us about it?
I do. In November in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the first ever Inkpreneurs Summit will launch. And I am so super excited. Everything that we've been talking about for the last 35 plus minutes in
Yeah.
terms of creating that community, that ecosystem is what the Inkpreneurs Summit is all about. It is a summit to bring together creatives and partners and experts all in one place. So our theme is Creatives United. So whether you're a new or an emerging author or you're an expert with all the knowledge in the world to share with a group of creatives, so it's not just writers, it is web designers, it's illustrators, it's graphic designers, it's if you are a creative, this is the place to be, to find your tribe, to find your people. And it's not a traditional book conference where there's just a bunch of people here trying to sell their books and just talking about writing, but it is merging the creative mind with an entrepreneurial spirit. That's where Inkpreneurs was born, is because we want to make sure that yes, you're this wonderful creator, but this is a business. You can actually have lifetime of success with your creative thing. Whatever that thing is, you can build business out of that thing. So Inkpreneurs is where all of that will be happening. We're bringing in industry experts that span across different areas. Like, and I'm not going to mention the person's name just yet.
Okay.
Somebody that spanned across writing, book to film, acting, award winning. How do you go from one idea through all of those things and be successful? And that is what you make your life's bread out of, is being a creative professional. So I am so excited about the Inkpreneur Summit. I'm telling you, the
I'm
seats are
excited.
limited because it's our first one. But when I say it is going to be phenomenal, I'm so excited about the
Well,
Inkpreneur Summit.
I'm excited as well. So
Creative
where
United.
can we find out more about it? Where can we buy tickets?
Absolutely. So registration will be open in about a week and a half, but you can find information about the foundation of the Inkpreneur Summit on our website, thewritersnest.net. And
Mhm.
if you go to the Inkpreneurs tab, Inkpreneurs is there. It will tell you what the conference is all about. And it's a call to action for not only individuals that want to attend the conference, but it's a call to action for individuals that are looking to share their expertise. We're looking for partners. We're looking for keynote speakers. We're looking for folks who want to build their business, build their brand by networking with other business owners, by networking with the attendees of the Inkpreneur Summit that are looking for your services. So if you have something to offer to a creative audience, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. We are several months out and we have 2 or 3 individuals that are sewn in to be our keynote speakers and want to teach on certain topics. You have an idea, reach out to us. The web forms are there on the writersnest.net website. Come on and join us. We are so excited for folks to dive in.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you. Okay, well, we're going to be wrapping up soon, but I wanted to touch on one final topic.
Absolutely.
So, all of the stuff that you're doing is absolutely amazing, but you would think that this is all your full-time job, and it's not. So, you have a full-time job and you're married, you have grown children you've told me about, and all of this is kind of like your side hustle.
Yeah.
I first of all, how do you balance it all? Number one. Number two, what advice would you have for others who want to have a successful side hustle?
Absolutely. Yeah, I will say, number one, you have to be a driven individual. I am very driven. So in my day job,
Mhm.
I'm a I'm a senior executive for a medical device company. So, I sit with the C level and I work a 40-hour a week day job. That's where a lot of my business acumen and entrepreneurialism comes from. Um, I juggle a lot. And I will say I don't sleep. I don't sleep a lot, especially when you're getting things off the ground. But in terms of the advice that I will give individuals is don't take the limits off. You got to take the limits off of yourself. And if you have what you feel like is an amazing idea, once again, surround yourself with the right people. But I also have a just do it kind of mentality. My degree is in chemistry and mathematics. Okay, wonderful. I was a chemist for 6 years and then I became a corporate executive in people operations. I don't have a degree in it.
Yeah.
Somewhere along that journey, I decided I love to write and I was really good at writing. And I read a book that I didn't like the way that it ended probably about 15 years ago. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a book. So I became an author and I wrote a book. I saw a gap in the industry and I was like, I'm going to be a business owner and I'm going to do that because there's a need right there. Literally, do not let individuals squash your dreams, your hopes. Just surround yourself with the right people and be determined that you're going to, number one,
Yeah.
learn what you need to learn, develop how you need to develop, and do it.
And just do it.
You can just do
Very
it. Like I'm
powerful.
not stealing from Nike, so but that's the
Yeah.
mentality.
Do it scared, do it broke.
Do it
Yep.
scared, do it broke.
Forget
Like
about your age. Forget about
forget
age.
about your age.
Age. Isn't that the
Forget
biggest
about
hindrance?
your age. I will say I was in my 40s when I became traditionally published for the first time. I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It does not
It does
matter.
not
You
matter.
can do it. I've talked to people that published their first book in their 60s, in their 70s. Just do it.
Who cares?
Who cares?
You know what?
It's just a number.
My mom told me something that was awesome. You have a rocket, and a rocket has to build up that momentum before it could take off, right? And so you have to look at your age as that you've been accumulating all of this wisdom and knowledge and fearlessness, and it's kind of just rumbling, and then
Absolutely.
just
Use
yeah,
your
take off.
use your momentum. It's
Um,
an analogy that I use all the time is building up that momentum. The last communication that a pilot has with the tower when a plane is about to take off is I'm committed. That means the plane is on the runway. It's going so fast that the only thing that it can do at this point is take off. You can't stop. You can't turn around. You have to take flight. Get it in your mind. I'm committed. If you're committed, you can do whatever it is. that you set out to do.
I think that that's the best place to end. I love that. Thank you so much. Ella, this has been absolutely phenomenal. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous doing it today just by myself without Teresa, but
Enjoyed it.
this
I
has been
absolutely enjoyed it. It's been great. And you can tell I'm passionate. I just love
I
talking
love
about
it.
stuff.
Well,
I
I
love
love talking about writing too. So, when you get two passionate people together, what do you expect, right?
Absolutely. I 100% agree. This has been
So,
amazing. Thank you for the invitation, Deborah.
yeah,
Thank you to
definitely.
my book business for thinking I had something worthwhile to say
Oh,
that
you
you
do. Oh,
invited
you
me
do.
onto the show.
Oh, you do. So, Writer's Nest, writersnest.net is how you find Writer's Nest.
TheWritersNest.net.
Yes.
Everything you need is right there. And the invitations to join the community, the private community, that platform that I talked about for learning
Yes.
is on the website. So please come over and join the Writer's Nest community.
And how do they find out information about Clarke Publishing House?
Clarke House Publishing.
Clarke House Publishing,
Actually,
I'm
can
sorry.
send me directly an email right from the website and I will answer. I
Okay.
will absolutely answer. On the website, there is the submissions to the first anthology. You can ask questions, you can submit your work. We will
Okay.
answer expeditiously.
And tell us like one more time, how do we find out information about the Inkspreneur Summit?
On the writersnest.net, on the Inkpreneurs Summit tab is where you can go right now. In a week and a half or so, registration will be open and the link will also be on that same page to register for the Inkpreneurs Summit.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ella,
You're
for
welcome.
joining us today. And thank you everyone for tuning in to About My Book Business. Next week, we're going to be talking with a children's book author. You'll have to wait to find out who that is. But thank you so much. And that's it for now. So thank
Thank
you.
you so much again.
No problem. Stay on. Thanks.